3 down and 1 to go, and that one is the main event. Sugar Ray Leonard against the Macho Man, Hector Macho Camacho. Sugar Ray, 40 years young, as he likes to put it. He has come out of retirement now for the 4th time. He took a drubbing 6 years ago at the hands of Terry Norris, and now Sugar Ray says he just misses the game. He's in good shape. He says he's in as good a shape as he's ever been in during his career, but he goes against the Macho Man, and who better to underscore this fight than Hector Macho Camacho. In fact, it was after Camacho's victory over Roberto Duran that he leaned over the ring and shouted at Sugar Ray Leonard, who was at that time a television commentator, and said, "Hey, Ray, put down the golf clubs and let's go." Camacho earlier this week said, "This is my legendary moment." And Muhammad Ali made it for Larry Holmes. Marvin Hagler made it for Sugar Ray Leonard, and Sugar Ray Leonard is going to make it for me. And that remains to be seen, but we still have our main event yet. And right now, we're going to take a look back at the career of Sugar Ray Leonard as the ring remembers.
This hasn't always been a household face. It was 21 years ago that Ray Charles Leonard burst onto the international stage by winning an Olympic gold medal in Montreal. Initially, he had no intention of turning pro, but he changed his mind and then changed boxing history. Trained by the masterful Angelo Dundee, Sugar Ray grew into a technically proficient and frighteningly fast professional. As a contender, skyrocketing up the welterweight ratings, his victory poses usually came as he stood over yet another fallen foe. At the age of 23, Leonard won his first world title, stopping defending WBC welterweight champion Wilfred Benitez in 1979. Benitez, previously undefeated, was among the best fighters in the game. Sugar Ray liked it that way. He wanted to fight only the best, and he wanted to make millions of dollars doing it. In a battle of contrasting superstars, Leonard defended against living legend Roberto Duran in 1980. After 15 furious rounds, Duran was awarded a close decision victory. Leonard wouldn't lose again for 11 years. In his rematch with Duran, Sugar Ray frustrated the hands of stone into saying no mas. It was a bizarre ending, but a most satisfying win for Leonard. More big fights. In 1981, Leonard took on fellow champion Thomas Hearns in the most anticipated welterweight fight of all time. Behind on points, his left eye swollen almost shut. Sugar Ray showed the heart of a champion by rallying to halt the hitman in round 14. In a decade featuring a ton of superstars, Leonard ascended to the top. But a detached retina brought the first of several retirements and several comebacks. In 1984, Sugar Ray rose from the canvas to stop Kevin Howard and then promptly retired. Only one challenge was going to bring him back to the ring again, the challenge he had always dreamt about, a showdown with longtime middleweight king Marvin Hagler. The bout came in 1987. No one picked Leonard to win, so of course, he overcame a 3-year layoff and scored perhaps his most stunning win, outpointing Marvelous Marvin in controversial fashion. Leonard was fighting for history now, and in 1988 he challenged the far bigger Donnie Lalonde for the super middleweight and light heavyweight titles. After 9 rounds, Lalonde lay crumpled, and Leonard had become the first fighter ever to win world titles at 5 different weights. What remained? Well, how about shootouts with some old friends? A 1989 rematch with Thomas Hearns saw Leonard twice rise from the canvas to salvage a very questionable draw. That served to close an intimately personal and a competitive chapter in the careers of 2 future Hall of Famers. A rubber match with Roberto Duran, won by Leonard on points, failed to provide fireworks, but no matter, Sugar Ray already headed the list of the greatest fighters of his era. But does this look like a man who is satisfied to rest on his laurels? In 1991, Leonard fought for the first time at Madison Square Garden. His opponent, junior middleweight titleist Terry Norris, was 11 years Leonard's junior, and he fought like it, punishing Sugar Ray en route to a lopsided decision victory. Again, it was time to say farewell. We thought for good. But as we've learned, for Sugar Ray, for good doesn't mean forever. Leonard long ago established himself as one of the greatest champions ever, and now he returns to the ring at the age of 40.
The ring remembers Sugar Ray Leonard, who tonight attempts to build an already burgeoning legend. And as you can see, the crowd here this evening at the Atlantic City Convention Center continues to build. They have set it up for 12,000, and already it is almost near capacity. And that's got to be good news for my guest, Mark Giuliano, who is the COO of Caesars Atlantic City. You've got to be thrilled at this turnout, Mark.
Yeah, we really are thrilled. We were hoping to do over 10,000, and it looks like we're going to do close to 11,000 tonight. It was just as real good news for us.
Talk to me for a moment about Sugar Ray Leonard fighting here. It's the first time that he has fought in Atlantic City, and you've got to be thrilled to have him here.
You know, although it's the first time that he's fought in Atlantic City, he's no stranger to the Caesars family. 7 fights at Caesars Palace. We're just happy that ITT and Caesars Atlantic City were the ones that brought him to Atlantic City for the first time.
You know, over the past several years, it seems that and correct me if I'm wrong, it seems that there has been a migration of sorts of the big fights from Atlantic City to Las Vegas. There was a heyday here in Atlantic City,
right.
The Tyson fights, the Bo fights, etc. And now it seems like it's swinging the other way. First of all, would you say that's true? And secondly, what is causing it to swing, turn the tide from Vegas to AC?
Well, I think that, you know, the fights never really left Atlantic City, and you are right, in the late 80s, we had some of the biggest heavyweight championships in the world here. And I think that they are starting to come back to Atlantic City, and as we continue to develop the city into a destination resort for people, and we add amenities like our rooms and our new convention center, I think that you're going to see events like these fights and other special events come back to town.
Talk to me briefly about the new convention center, because by all accounts, I saw the model in the lobby here at the convention center. It looks absolutely spectacular. What will be featured there?
Well, actually, the new convention center won't have any sporting or special events there. But we do have $54 million that we're using to renovate the existing convention hall to be a special event center that'll just be state-of-the-art.
This is a big night for you, a big night for Caesars, and a big night for Atlantic City. I got to ask you right now, before we get moving on, who do you like this evening?
Well, you know, I can't really say who's going to win the fight, but I can tell you, the city of Atlantic City is the real winner tonight. Took a ho-hum weekend and turned it into a gangbuster for everybody.
Are you running for office?
Nope, not running for office.
We can't get a pick out of Mark Giuliano. He is the COO of Caesars Atlantic City. Thanks for stopping by, Mark.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, now we're going to go to John Saraceno. He's standing by with J.D. Brown. John?
Thanks a lot, J.D., camp coordinator for Sugar Ray Leonard and longtime friend. What separates Ray Leonard from all the other fighters in boxing?
Well, Ray has that intestinal fortitude that it takes to be a great fighter. Not only be a great fighter, be a great person. He's a person that he sees a challenge and he steps forward, he takes it, and succeeds in it whenever he tries.
Now, at age 40, 10 years later after he defeated Marvin Hagler, is this a greater challenge to come back after a 6-year layoff?
Well, I don't think so. I think that one of the things that's happened this time for Ray at the tender age of 40 years young, he's been able to prepare long before he came back. His body was in total condition, his mind was in total mental condition, and then all he had to do was go to camp to get in boxing condition. He did that the 11 weeks we trained for this fight. The only other fight he's been this focused was Marvin Hagler.
Ray's considered to be a bit of a risk taker. In your mind, do you think that's a bit overblown, or is he that much of a risk taker?
Well, I think he is. I think he is what you would take to be a great athlete. You have to take chances, and he does. He'll go for the gusto, and you'll see that tonight. You'll see Sugar Ray Leonard of old return tonight.
Many opponents have been mentioned if Ray were to get past Hector Camacho tonight. Some of the names that have been popping up, the winner of the De La Hoya-Whitaker fight, possibly Terry Norris. What do you guys think about future opponents down the road?
Well, right now Ray is concentrating on Hector Macho Camacho. That's all he's focused on tonight. After the fight, we'll sit down and talk. Maybe we'll go with Butterbean next.
JD, there was also some discussion that Ray may have had a difficult time making weight. How do you think that kind of got blown out? Was that a proportion? Was that something from the Camacho camp?
Well, it was something that started by the Camacho camp. They saw him, we were at a hockey game together, and one of Camacho's trainers touched Ray and felt all this muscle and bulk, and he thought that Ray Leonard was overweight. Ray Leonard's been on weight for almost a week now, and he's just been able to maintain, and he's in super condition.
Last question, JD. Do you expect Ray Leonard to come out and try to stop Hector Camacho in his tracks?
I think Ray Leonard's going to come out and win this fight by any means necessary.
Michael?
All right, John, thanks a lot. John with J.D. Brown, Sugar Ray Leonard's trainer. And right now, simply put, we have arrived at the moment of truth.
The main event, former 5-time world champion Sugar Ray Leonard versus former 3-time world champ Hector Camacho. It's the night Sugar Ray, at the age of 40, comes out of retirement, opening himself up to the scrutiny of the boxing and sporting world.
Totally under a microscope and under a great deal of scrutiny, opinions, judgments, prejudgments, past judgments. But I took it all in stride, because I guess if someone else was coming back at the tender age of 40, I would ask and be inquisitive, intrigued by it, and want to know why.
Especially when fight fans remember in his last outing 6 full years ago, Leonard was dominated, and at the age of 34 looked then to succumb to the years.
I saw this kid pummel me. I saw myself being totally defensive, but then again, I wasn't giving up. I knew what I was thinking right at the precise moment, that I had no fire, I had no speed, I had nothing. I had no sense of where I was.
Leonard insists that was an aberration. At the time, going through his emotional divorce, taking painkillers for a severe rib injury, and struggling to make weight, which sapped the greatness going into that Norris fight.
Along with Terry Norris's talent and my day of dark clouds, it was a horrible performance. I know that. And look back on it 6 years later, and you say, why wait 6 years? Let's say it took me 6 years to really digest all of this and really come to the conclusion that, you know what, I'm doing this for me.
Time keeps on slipping into the future.
I'm a real wild one, wild one, wild one, wild one.
I want Ray. Yo, Ray, come on, man. Let's have some fun.
Meet all my friends, gonna have myself a ball. Gonna tell my friends, gonna tell them all that I'm a wild one. Oh yeah, I'm a wild one. Gonna break it loose, gonna keep it moving wild, gonna keep us swinging, baby. I'm a real wild child.
I'm very motivated. I'm fighting Sugar Ray Leonard. The name says it all. Sugar Ray Leonard.
Hector Camacho knows tonight he is not the show, but is in a position to steal it. Reinventing himself with 19 straight well-orchestrated wins, the former 3-time world champion is electrified about tonight's matchup. Though he comes off a less than inspiring, disputed decision over 45-year-old Roberto Duran, he feels Sugar Ray Leonard is made to order.
Better than I was for the Duran fight. This guy ain't active, he thinks he's tough and all. He needs to be all that. But I'm spunkier. I'll be on his ass. I'm gonna punch him on his ass. I'm not gonna run from Ray.
I think, unfortunately, his outside antics surpasses his talent. I think sometimes his mouth gets him in more trouble than his hands.
For the first 2 rounds, he'll probably be explosive for the first 3 rounds. Okay? For the first 2 rounds, I'm gonna start nutting him. I'm gonna start nutting him, wear him out. I'm gonna stay on top of Ray.
He conveyed to me that he's gonna push it, he's gonna fight me, he's gonna stand toe to toe. I hope he's that accommodating, but I doubt very seriously. Because of anything, I feel that I'm stronger than he is.
He ain't be no different than he was his last fight. He ain't be no better
The first round is a very important round. That first punch is the key for me to land the first punch. Or even if he gets a punch in first, for me to land a punch harder than he, to wake him up to reality.
He has the right to brag. He has the right to say and come off. This is his opportunity. Because it's going to be the last comeback he's going to make. I guarantee you that.
And the crowd, nearly 11,000 strong, waiting for this moment. Sugar Ray Leonard will make the first approach into the ring. Boxing today devoid of the charismatic, bigger-than-life fighters. You appreciate even more how special Sugar Ray Leonard has been and is to the sport of boxing and beyond. And this should be an electric moment as he slips through the curtain and viewed by this big crowd. One of those moments as he re-enters the ring 6 years after he left it.
And this is the attention that all fighters who come back miss. Adoring fans, the attention, the alacrity of a live crowd, a live performance. That's exciting.
And the rarity of a Hall of Famer actually coming back to participate in a sport. Alexis Arguello did it in boxing. Gordie Howe in hockey. And you really have to look hard after that in the major sports to find anybody else. Sugar Ray coming out of his fourth retirement, the seriousness on his face. He turns 41 in May, a grandfather. And he says, this is not for the money. You don't have to show it to me, although they did. He's making around $4 or $5 million for this fight. The first fighter ever to amass $100 million in purses in the sport of boxing. But tonight he gets back on the stage. And he has said, I need the attention that boxing brings. You have a big ego, Sugar Ray? Well, he says, my ego is what made me who I am. This is what he does best, what he enjoys, performing, defying the odds. He did it after a 3-year layoff with no tune-up, going up against Marvin Hagler, who was about a 3-to-1 favorite. And although it was disputed, Sugar Ray came away with that split decision. He has won 5 titles in 5 different weight classes, from welterweight all the way up to light heavyweight. He says, this one is for me. Can I tarnish my image? Well, if it doesn't work out, I don't think they will kick him out of the Hall of Fame. And if it does work out, I think you can put in a call to Fort Knox, because there are things ahead if Sugar Ray Leonard can turn back the clock.
Yeah, the Brinks truck will be driving up to his home in Pacific Palisades. There he is, Sugar Ray Leonard.
The fight face is on. Sugar Ray Leonard, who turned pro in 1977. It is now 1997. In that span of 20 years, though, Sean, with all the layoffs and retirements, he has fought a total of 6 years and change. Wow.
Including the retirements in between the fights.
And being out for 6 years, the one thing you could say about Ray, certainly well rested for tonight's extravaganza.
He said, when I hit 40, I knew that it was now or never for this comeback.
And this view, how does Sugar Ray look to you physically?
Tight, fit. The man knows how to box, and he obviously knows how to get in shape. Look at those abs. Does he look like a 40-year-old man?
Very rarely Sugar Ray Leonard in the ring first. But this is actually an IBC middleweight championship. And Hector Camacho is actually the IBC middleweight champion. Talked about Sugar Ray Leonard, who's saying he is not in it for the money. Well, Hector Camacho is. There is no question about it.
But he is making half of what Sugar Ray Leonard is getting guaranteed in this fight. He is making only $2 million. Ray is making $4 million.
And Sugar Ray Leonard, will he get annoyed that Hector Camacho is making him wait in the ring?
Yeah, that's one of the old-time ploys. What they do is they used to put the challenger in the ring first, and the champion would take his time to get to the ring. Let the challenger sit out there under the hot lights, under the crowd, get all fired up, all excited. We still have a long way before the first bell in this fight.
Grandpapa.
That's him.
Do you remember the commercials?
Yes.
Ray Jr. and Sugar Ray soft drink commercial. Ray Jr. was what, maybe 5, 6, 7 years old then, back in the early 80s. Ray Jr. is now 23, married, the father of a 2-year-old daughter. Sugar Ray's granddaughter, Ariel.
Wow. There's Roger giving a target.
You know, you talk about a lot of the former champions who come back. Larry Holmes is in the crowd here tonight, one of many. And you talk about the heavyweights who have, but it has not been as prevalent for some of the lighter weight class fighters to return in their 40s. Although Sugar Ray Leonard, and now you're waiting until you approach the age of 40.
I can't come back until you're 40. I think that's the unwritten rule in boxing.
Sugar Ray Leonard, of course, whose appeal reached all the way to Madison Avenue, one of the few boxers who was actually commercial friendly. And certainly with a victory would take a chunk of that again. Yes, this is what they've been setting up, ladies and gentlemen.
That's why it took so long. He was putting all that garb on. No wonder he'd be hard to hit. You can't hurt him in all that armor.
Well, after he comes in like this, I think Sugar Ray's going to want to hit him even harder.
Ray may want to have another weigh-in after all of that. What a workout that's going to be, just getting to the ring.
Always coming in with his outrageous outfits. Fight may get off in another half hour or so.
Oh, and this has to be so vexing to Sugar Ray Leonard, who is standing in the ring, awaiting. There is Leonard pacing like a hungry lion.
Well, one of the questions for Camacho is, can he actually go into a fight where he is not the major focus? He is not the major story. Well, you know, you try his darnest to steal it, to upstage Sugar Ray Leonard, especially with the interest. It is Sugar Ray Leonard who is allowing Camacho to have that platform. And he is taking it literally, coming in on a platform. The crowd now getting very upset at Camacho, who's going at a pace of about 1.5 miles per hour.
Well, Camacho brings a lot of good tools to this fight. He is quick, tricky, he's clever in the ring. He has more fights than Ray Leonard, and Camacho is a left-hander. He's southpaw, fighting from a backward stance for a left-handed stance. They are menacing. The left-handed fighters are confusing, and especially the style that Hector Camacho uses.
Hector probably voted the worst dressed boxer by Mr. Blackwell, but then again voted the best dressed boxer by Dennis Rodman. And it's a question of, does Hector Camacho with 34 still have the speed to out-hustle a Sugar Ray Leonard. Camacho, who looked to be written off after his attempts at world championships against Julio Cesar Chavez and Felix Trinidad, but since that time has won 19 in a row, and he's hung around enough to put himself in a position to fight a Roberto Duran, and now in this one against Sugar Ray Leonard. All right, let's check out these two fighters on the tail of the tape. It's a middleweight fight, and Sugar Ray coming in for this one at 159, a shade over Hector Camacho, and Sugar Ray Leonard with the height, with the long reach advantage, and is actually the bigger and the stronger fighter, hoping to utilize his strength against Hector Camacho. And here are the rules. Standing 8 count not in effect. 3 knockdown rule is in effect. You cannot be saved by the bell. And the scoring on the 10-point must scoring system. We're ready for the introductions, and let's go up to Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dillon Promotions and Michael Acree Boxing Promotions, along with Caesars Atlantic City and your undisputed and undefeated king of beers, Budweiser, this Bud's for you, present 12 rounds of boxing for the IBC Middleweight Championship of the World. Sanctioned by the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board, Boxing Commissioner Larry Hazard Sr., Chairman Jerry Gormley, Board members Gary Shaw and Stephen Katz, ringside physicians Dr. Earl Shaw, Dr. Howard Taylor, Dr. Gary Matisow, Dr. Charles Wilson, the timekeepers Lindsey Tucker and Roosevelt Gilbert. The International Boxing Council also sanctions this contest. President Joseph Blackie Gennaro Jr. Supervisor for the IBC is Debbie Jones. The 3 judges scoring this bout on a 10-point must system will be Tim Bigley, Mike Pernick, and Deborah Barnes. And when the bell rings, the man in charge of the action working in a world championship bout for the 89th time, your referee, Joe Cortez. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, from Caesars Atlantic City, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, in the blue corner, wearing black and weighing in at 159 pounds. In 1976, he captured Olympic gold. And as a professional, he's gone on to win 6 world title bouts in 5 different divisions. His record as a professional, 36 victories, 25 by knockout, with only 2 defeats and 1 draw. Ladies and gentlemen, from Washington, D.C., he's back. Here is the former 6-time champion of the world, the Sugar Man, Sugar Ray Leonard. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white trimmed with blue letters, weighing 158 3/4 pounds. His professional record, one of the best in boxing today. 63 victories, 31 knockouts to his credit, with only 3 defeats and 1 draw. And he has captured 5 world title belts. Ladies and gentlemen, what time is it? It's macho time. From Bayamon, Puerto Rico, here is the 5-time champion of the world, Hector Macho Camacho.
All right, gentlemen, we went over the rules in the dressing room. I expect a good, clean fight. Hector, punches here are still good. The trunks are a little high. Give me a good, clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. God bless you both.
I think Camacho has already been penalized 5 yards for the delay of game, but the crowd is up. Sugar Ray Leonard said it is very important in the first round that he get the respect of Hector Camacho. And he has to score, if not with the first punch, but that first counter and a hit hard. Hector Camacho feels that Sugar Ray Leonard did not consider him a safe opponent for his first fight back. But Sugar Ray picked the wrong opponent, a southpaw in Camacho, who is fast, who has been a very active fighter, and will really try to test the legs of Sugar Ray. Sugar Ray is looking for that first shot. That right hand is cocked. What is he feeling now? First time in 6 years. I mean, he's been sparring hundreds of rounds. There, takes the left hand of Camacho, and that gives Camacho loads of confidence. He landed the first punch.
Yeah, he's the one. That's his best punch, too. He says his straight left. He describes himself in the ring as a boxer, but now more seasoned, more relaxed, a real pro in there. Trying to punch harder, more on balance. He says in the past I was relying on speed. Now it's speed and power.
Now Leonard got in a good right, but unable to get the gloves up, and Camacho came back with a flurry of shots.
This jab is a vital weapon. Both fighters have had a high history in boxing. They've spent their lifetimes in this sport. Both of them realize the importance of that jab. See him constantly throughout this fight. You'll see him try to win that jab over. Camacho jabbing from the southpaw stance. Ray Leonard grabbing from the right-handed stance.
Halfway through round number 1, Sugar Ray Leonard very tentative here in the first round.
Yeah, still trying to shake out some of the cobwebs. He looks rusty, as he should. There's a good right hand against the left-handed fighters. A straight right hand works real well, and a real wide left hook works well, and those are two of Ray Leonard's best punches. His left hook he has been working so hard on. You know, that's a difficult punch to throw. You have to hook it around. It is, as the name describes, the right hand is not as difficult. You just throw it out. Just throw it straight. The left hook, you got to bring the elbow right behind it. There is a push. No knockdown, says Joe Cortez. Some of the strength of Hector Camacho.
But a psychological edge for Camacho. Now Hector, in the 19 wins he has had in a row, 10 of those have been knockout as he has moved up in weight. In the previous 9 years, he had but 7 KOs. So Hector Camacho, who has been very active, he sees that as being the story here tonight. That he believes that Sugar Ray Leonard, at the age of 34, looked like a beaten fighter and over the hill against Terry Norris 6 years ago. And how could he be any better here 6 years later and at 40?
I know Hector Camacho would love to have 12 just like that.
Relax. You want it out, you want it in. Hector. Beautiful. Slow your breathing down. Relax. And back this guy, you're killing him. This eye is starting to bust. You see the eye? It's already there. Stay with the jab. You set the rhythm, okay? That was very good. He's looking to do something slow. You keep that rhythm. He's looking to get out of here really quick. That's why he's throwing so many right hands.
Against the left-handed fighters, your front feet are so close together, but you're constantly stepping on your opponent's foot or crossing him up. See the front foot of Hector Camacho just wrapping around behind Leonard's. Only a trip. I think they're fighting under the 3-trip rule.
Up and down, give him some things to back him off. Feed him a lap, okay?
Adrian Davis in the corner.
That's all right. Relax,
Sugar Ray
relax.
happy to get those 3 minutes over with.
Yeah.
Camacho felt in the first couple of rounds he was going to feint, draw some punches, try to stay ahead of Sugar Ray Leonard and see what kind of speed and punching power he has. And then after 3 rounds, then he wanted to take it to him, get the heart rate going, make him fight. Yeah, Sugar Ray, remember, hasn't been hit in this kind of a situation in 6 years. And in the corner of Camacho, booed by the crowd, certainly is always stuck with a bad boy image, although he has certainly cleaned up his act of late, and you can even tell by who he has in the corner. No-nonsense guys in Jesse Reed and Pat Burns.
his son Hector Jr., who he says now I have something to walk the straight and narrow for, and that's for my son. His son, a boxer.
But they feel the longer this goes, those 40-year-old legs that have not fought in this kind of a matchup in front of the big crowd under the lights, with the tension of a real fight for 6 years, will wilt and become very rubbery.
I'm quite impressed with that first round from Camacho. He did what he said he was going to do. He put the pressure on Leonard. He has kept the fast punches in the face of Ray. He's scored and he's not been hit.
You know, there was a big question about weight. Did Ray Leonard have to come down in weight right before the fight? He was having trouble with his weight in training, although that's denied by the Leonard camp. It was the same story when Camacho faced Duran in June. And then Duran comes in at a felt, 156. Camacho was at 160, and it was Camacho, the younger fighter, who was actually exhausted from much of the fight. So Hector says he learned from that one, kind of chiseling away. He's just about a pound and a quarter under that 160, but looks to be so much more mobile at this point than he did in June against the 45-year-old Duran.
Well, he says, I want to be known as the legend killer. Knock off the legends. Knocked off Duran, now he wants to knock off Leonard. He had a terrific first round from Camacho, but the fight is still early. It's still simmering.
Camacho feels if he can knock off Leonard, that certainly elevates his name in this comeback bid and may put him in some of the fights with the Whitakers, the De La Hoyas.
Certainly raises his stature in this sport.
But it also could be a no-win situation for Camacho. If he loses, he's finished. And if he wins, then they can say, well, you know, you beat an old guy who's coming back for the first time in 6 years.
No holding and hitting.
Don't be holding down here, you understand? Stay right now, let's go.
There's Pat Burns in front of Camacho. Jesse Reed applying the towel to the face of Hector.
What he's doing is you throw that jab. He's dropping down to the right, just like they did in the gym, okay?
Pat Burns, former Miami policeman.
He's pulling out. You need to get his head back up.
Assistant coach of the 1996 U.S. Olympic team.
Doing good.
Said whoever thought Hector Camacho would ever be hooked up with a police officer on the same side.
Good, baby. You're looking good.
The encouragement from Aaron, from Adrian Davis.
Feed him and pull him back out.
Sugar Ray now just has to get some rounds in.
Yeah, these are very vital rounds for Hector Camacho. You let him know you're going to pick it up where it left off. And that's with Terry Norris.
Said it was tough early. He started training in December. There were times he felt whether he could continue through it. He pushed forward. And then about a month ago, so it all clicked in. Keep in mind, Sugar Ray Leonard looking for some one-shot bombs. Hector Camacho has never been stopped in a fight and has been down only once in his career.
Whoa, that was a nice left hand from Camacho. Almost put Leonard to the canvas. Leonard a little bit off balance. Now, they said in the corner of Camacho, they said, watch how he bends over. Watch when Leonard throws the jab. He leans over, turning his face away from Camacho. They want Camacho to jab him over the top of that. Catch him looking right like that, right there. That's exactly what they want from the corner. Jesse Reed, outstanding trainer. Patrick Bird in the ring, telling Hector what he wanted. And Camacho following directions.
Let him out clean.
Why many feel that this is a mistake by Sugar Ray Leonard. They don't just look at the Norris fight, which Sugar Ray has his justifications for, but in his last 4 fights, Sugar Ray was knocked down 5 occasions, and he has been rocked on several occasions already here through 3 rounds by Camacho, who is generally regarded as a light hitter.
A light hitter, but the speed is power, and in aging fighters, the first thing to go is that speed. When you, especially in this fight for Leonard, when you let him know early he's going to get hit, a lot, and he's going to get often with fast combinations like that. He starts to thinking to himself, whoa, I am 40 years old. Maybe I made the wrong decision in coming back. Maybe I chose the wrong opponent. Let him know that early, and that's what Camacho is doing.
Without
so wise.
Without a tune-up.
Yeah, Camacho is so crafty in the ring.
And Sugar Ray Leonard is providing the platform for Camacho to say, hey, I'm only 34. I still have something. And Camacho knows that. He says, I have let so many opportunities slip by in my career. I could have been at the statue of Sugar Ray Leonard, legend in his own time, instead of a legend in his own mind.
Opportunities like Julio Cesar Chavez, a fight which he lost one-sided almost every round. He said, I only had 2 problems in that fight. I was too slow and too defensive. I wish I'd used more offense. He says, I never gave myself the best training in this, and then he brings that experience into this fight with him. Also the fight with Felix Trinidad. He did not throw enough punches. He was out-punched. And in this fight, he is pressing the action. He's the one using the aggression. Not something you see from Hector.
Right up now. Give me some water. You ready? Get a little nasty with that right uppercut. You over here, pull that sucker. Over my glove. Don't move, don't move.
How you feel, champ?
Good.
That's good. Come on, man. Loosen up.
Pivot with him now. Stop letting them push you straight back. Pivot on him, you know what I mean? So you're losing.
Champ, use your leg, man. You can use that leg, man.
One more time. Very good.
Push and punch. Be the man. Be the man. You hurt him twice. Jump on him
Be
when
assertive.
Don't let him off the hook.
Jesse Reed.
Keep your hands high.
You're going to knock this guy out.
He's looking for one punch, son. He's looking for the right hand.
Knock this
Don't
guy
let him get
out,
into
said
the dance.
Reed.
Every time he just that little step, break his balance.
Usually on
break his
target,
rhythm.
too.
Yes,
You got to
Reed
be
is so
first.
good as a trainer. Here is a look at what they see. Whenever Ray leans over, he bends over at the waist, and that's when they want Hector to clock him. You're taught to bend when you bend over. Yeah, you bend down, you squat. You don't bend over from the waist.
Hector Camacho said he never, ever thought that he would be stepping in the ring in a fight against Sugar Ray Leonard. Camacho turned pro at the age of 16 in 1980. He was 127 pounds then. That was 2 months before Sugar Ray Leonard heard Roberto Duran say, no mas.
Hector Camacho has had for so long so much incredible talent that you wonder what he gave away, spending a lot of his career running around and not focused on boxing. Problems outside the ring instead of problems inside the ring.
Well, he laments, he said, Lamborghinis, Mercedes, Porsches, jewelry, clothes, women kept him away from boxing. That never gave himself the chance to be the best fighter that he actually could be. But now settled down, peace of mind. He's married. 2 young children. Training on a regular basis. He's fighting so much that he just doesn't have the time to get into trouble anymore.
And he also has to set an example for his son. This is a kid that 96-1 as an amateur.
This is Hector.
Hector Camacho. He has really grown up in this sport of boxing.
And he lost his last bout as an amateur in the Olympic trials. He then turned pro and would not lose again for 10 years. Camacho won his first 39 professional fights before losing to Greg Haugen. And his 2 other losses with the losses to Chavez and Trinidad.
You know, Leonard is standing around and smiling every time that Hector scores, but smiling doesn't give you points. There's another good combination, and look who's trying to tie up. Sugar Ray Leonard. But you know, you can never count out a fighter like Leonard. Remember what he did to Hearns? And
You have to wait till the 13th and 14th rounds.
14th round. Yes. Well, of course, scheduled for 12, but he always has the power in his back pocket. It's just a matter of pulling it out. The first thing that goes on a fighter is his speed. The last thing that goes on any fighter is his power. They all have the power. They just don't have the speed.
Closing seconds of the fourth.
Break out, step back.
You got a slight little cut on your eye.
Slight little cut, they say.
What round is
As
this?
the blood pours down. That is in a nasty position just underneath the eyebrow.
What round is this?
There is coagulant on that swab they're putting in there. Adrenaline chlorine, 1 to 1,000, or thrombin topical. Sometimes.
Was it a punch or a
You
headbutt?
gotta watch it now. Move the head, okay? Yeah.
That didn't really look like a headbutt. May have been a punch. Here's another look. There's
that is
right there. That's it. Right on the eye.
All right, seconds out. Percy.
These left-handed fighters throw punches at you at different angles. They also throw their head at you at different angles.
Well, the rule pertaining to this IBC championship fight on an accidental headbutt, if it goes 6 rounds or less and it's stopped because of that accidental headbutt, it's a technical draw. If it goes more than 6 rounds, then they go to the scorecards.
All right, break out, step back, break. Let's go.
John Saraceno watching. Oh, good shot there by Camacho. Leonard is down. He was hurt. He was trying to grab hold of Hector Camacho. Sugar Ray Leonard having difficulties getting to his feet. And you know Hector Camacho will seize this window of opportunity and go right at him. Sugar Ray Leonard in trouble. So much time remaining to try to survive this 5th round.
Joe Cortez is ready to stop this fight. Camacho landing. Cortez should stop it now. It's time. There it is. And it's all over.
He guaranteed it. Hector Camacho, who's supposed to be a safe opponent for Sugar Ray Leonard. And it's Camacho's rebirth in the world of boxing. Although many will look at it again, as we talked about, no-win situation. Sugar Ray Leonard looked at 40 the way he looked at 34 against Terry Norris. Actually didn't look as good.
Yeah, completely overwhelmed. Hector Camacho used his speed, his ring savvy, his footwork to move forward. He pressed Ray Leonard, put his punches on Ray Leonard, made him hurt, made him feel every bit 40 years old. In the opening round, Hector Camacho used his speed to let Sugar Ray Leonard know we're picking you up where Terry Norris left it off. And here's what happened. It is Camacho clocking Leonard, putting him down to the canvas. Leonard gets up, and this is where Camacho really shines. Look at these punches from Hector. No retaliation from Sugar Ray Leonard. Hector Camacho really pouring it on. Joe Cortez is ready to stop the fight, and there it is. Good call by Cortez. Leonard was defenseless on the ropes.
He did not have his legs. He did not have the speed of his arms. Single punching early, try to catch Camacho, figuring maybe his strength would take Camacho out early. Sugar Ray Leonard looking back at when he came out of a 3-year retirement and was able to pull off the incredible victory over the heavy favorite Marvin Hagler, that perhaps he could come out of a 6-year retirement against the suspected light-hitting Hector Camacho, but Leonard was 30 years old in the fight against Hagler.
And in the same time, Camacho had 27 fights.
Right.
Hector Camacho backs up the big talk going into this fight and basic dissection of the former great Sugar Ray Leonard, who we suspect will go back into retirement, although we will hear from Sugar Ray. He may feel that he needed those rounds. He sees where he is right now and will go back to work. Only Sugar Ray can tell us that. But in this affair, it was all Hector Camacho. It appeared from this angle as if he was pitching the shutout, and a defenseless Sugar Ray Leonard against the ropes in the fifth. Joe Cortez, who has refereed 89 World Championship bouts, knew the exact time to step in. Let's get the official time.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Joe Cortez has to step in and call a halt to the bout. The official time, 1 minute, 8 seconds of round number 5. The winner and still IBC middleweight champion of the world, Hector Macho Camacho.
Many of those boos have turned, not exactly the cheers, they're just not booing anymore. And here's Hector with his wife Amy, the kids. And a very subdued Sugar Ray Leonard. Joining me here at ringside, John Saraceno. And stunned corner of Sugar Ray Leonard, and your reaction, equally stunned. At the beginning of the show, you thought that Sugar Ray was perhaps opening another door for himself tonight.
Where's Pat? You don't ever see him in here.
Apparently, John sitting with me just speechless at this. Well, let's go into the ring now. Sean O'Grady is trying to track down Hector Camacho as Sugar Ray Leonard clears the cobwebs.
Hector, wow, you guaranteed us a win. In fact, you guaranteed us a knockout, which raised a lot of eyebrows, but you did it. Has this been a long time coming?
Yeah, maybe, but you know, your guys are gonna take this and just twist it around, you know, normally, because here is his retirement and all.
Right. Hey, what do you say about that? There are those who are going to say, hey, he was out for 6 years. You should have knocked him out. What do you say about that? There he is. Great champion, two real gentlemen. You saw the acrimonious behavior between these two before the fight, but there is mutual respect there now. Ray, are you okay?
I am fine. Yeah, I just never got into it. For a while, I was okay.
You know, Ray, early in the fight, I thought it was a very determining point right at the first, because you said I've got to land the first punch or the first hard punch.
Yeah.
Is that where it really got you behind the 8 ball?
Well, you know, once again, I was trying to establish my jab. No excuses made. I was trying to get off. Right, baby. What fight, man? You stay tough. Hey, listen, I tell you what, though. I try to keep that game going with you, too.
Hey, hang on. Camacho, where does this do for you? What is it? How does this? What a great.
Take the Sugar Man. It's his show.
Hector just. All right, Hector. Well, then I will talk to you. So what happened?
I couldn't get myself established. As usual, the rumor about me being hospitalized was actually true. I had a problem with my calf, and I had to fly my doctors, my physical therapist and my orthopedic doctor, to give me an injection. But, you know, again, Camacho's, he fought a superb fight. I don't want to discount him either.
Did he surprise you? I know going into this you had a lot of confidence.
Well, actually, I didn't. He didn't surprise me at all.
Did you surprise you?
You know, actually, I fought a fight better than I thought I could fight after such an absence from the ring. For a couple seconds, couple minutes, I was getting my jab off and establishing my punches. My right hand was landing, but every time I would try to reach in, I didn't have the balance I once had.
It seemed like you were just behind him a step on the speed. Did that give you any problem?
Well, I could match his speed, Sean. That wasn't really the case. It was the fact that he had the step on me first, you know.
He was backing you up, which surprised me. I thought you would back him up.
Yeah, right. But I could never get myself established because I could never really push off my right leg. And
because of the
calf injury. But again, I'm not going to discount Camacho's performance, which was superb. A much better fight than he had fought against Durant. Far better. He was far more focused, far more determined, and everything else. And again, you know, I tried my heart out. I thought I had it. Things just didn't go my way.
Everybody's wondering what next. Where do you go from here? I know you want some water first, but where do you go?
Oh, for sure, my career is definitely over in the ring. I mean,
5 years, 6 years down the road?
No. I mean, no one's ever put a halt to to me in a fight. No one, even Hagler. Oh, Tommy Hearns, and I'm through.
Were you thinking at all about Terry Norris as this fight developed?
No, actually, everyone else was. I try to stay focused on Camacho. There was all speculations and rumors that this fight was a stepping stone for me to challenge Oscar or Purnell or either Roy Jones. But as far as I was concerned, I only had Camacho on my mind.
Ray, I know everyone's concerned and everybody cares about you, so I guess this is the end to a glorious career.
I mean, if there's any indication, to have been stopped, that's a pretty good indication. I mean, Joe gave me a chance to regroup and look out for my best interest.
Well, I appreciate you agreeing with Joe, and I think he was exactly right. Sugar Ray Leonard, the end of a glorious long career, and thank you very much from the many fans who enjoyed your career.
Thank you so
Back
much.
down to you, Al. This is the end of a legend, Sugar Ray Leonard.
All right, and the legend began with a smile on his face, and it ends with a smile on his face. John Saraceno, do you believe Sugar Ray, or 6 years from now he says, well, that Camacho fight, it was the calf injury, I just wasn't myself? And
this clearly is the end of Sugar Ray Leonard's career. I guess he tried to fool himself, and he fooled some of us. I picked him to win the fight. I thought Ray looked terrific condition, but his legs were just not there. It's time to take out that driver and go back to the golf course.
all right, before we leave, let's focus now on the winner, Hector Camacho. Do you look at Camacho as being in a no-win situation, or has he improved his status here tonight?
I would say that he did a lot for his career at this point in terms of making some more money, and he's got a definite shot to fight the winner of the Oscar De La Hoya-Pernell Whitaker fight. That's the fight he should go for.
Do you think tonight was more of just Sugar Ray should never been in the ring tonight, or that Hector Camacho just looked pretty good?
Camacho has looked as good as I've seen him look, particularly at middleweight, in a long, long time. He had a good, fast, hard jab. He had Leonard totally confused. Leonard could not really counter in any sort of meaningful fashion. And I think it was a very good performance by Hector Camacho, but of course Ray Leonard helped him.
Ray Leonard said this fight could not tarnish his legacy. If it does, that means I really did not have much of a legacy. Did it?
No, I don't think it's going to do anything to diminish what Ray Leonard has accomplished in the ring over a long career. Joe Louis, Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson, most of those great fighters went out with very bad results, and Ray Leonard is no different. He told us earlier in the week, yes, I am different, but in the end he wasn't.
And that wraps it up from here at ringside. Al Albert along with John Saraceno and Sean O'Grady still up in the ring. I think it also convinced Sean O'Grady, who might have been thinking, if Sugar Ray is a little successful tonight, it's time for me. But
Sean should stick to his golf game too.
Have you seen Sean O'Grady's golf game?
All right, how about putt-putt?
Okay, that's his game. John has seen him. All right, that's it from here. Let's go back up to Michael.
All right, Al, what a night. We culminated with Sugar Ray and Hector Macho Camacho, and we told you this would be an incredible fight, and it certainly was. It goes 5 rounds, and then Sugar Ray takes it in 108 of the 5th round. Hector Camacho, he started out the favorite in this fight, but by the time the opening bell rang, Sugar Ray was the favorite, so perhaps somewhat of an upset. But as you heard him tell Sean O'Grady, his fighting days are over. So Sugar Ray Leonard ends his career, if he means it this time, ends his career at 36-3-1. Hector Camacho now moves to 64-3-1. Sugar Ray Leonard never before stopped by technical knockout. So that is a first in his career. And some might say we never should have had the chance to see Sugar Ray Leonard on the canvas like that and having the fight stopped by Joe Cortez. But at this point, it's too late now as Sugar Ray ends his career with a TKO. Let's take a look at some of the early results of tonight's bouts. We had 4 other bouts to tell you about. Our first match, Orlando Canizales knocks out Roland Gomez in the 3rd round. He won by KO. He moves to 44-3-1. Charles Murray, Charles the Natural Murray, 10-round decision over Livingston Razai Bramble. And in our other featured fight of the evening, Robert Daniels, a split decision over Kenny Keene. And in the main event, you just saw it, Hector Camacho. Macho time indeed, a 5th round TKO. He moves now to 64-3-1 with 32 knockouts. And while perhaps no one is surprised at the outcome of this fight, many are surprised at the way it ended. Sugar Ray, TKO, and his career is over. That'll do it from Convention Center in Atlantic City. I'm Michael Barkan. We thank you for watching. Thanks to Al Albert, Sean O'Grady, John Saraceno, and of course, Mark Giuliano from Caesars Atlantic City. It's been a great night, and good night, everyone, from Atlantic City.
It's the biggest pay-per-view spectacular of the year. The reigning champ is indeed the man, but can he fend off the phenom from the dark side? This angry hitman has a score to settle, but his target's a renowned stone-cold killer as well. Beware the dark alleys of Chicago when these warriors from the hood risk all in a brutal Chicago street fight. WrestleMania. There's only one WrestleMania, and it only happens once a year. Presented live March 23rd by PlayStation.
Tonight's boxing has been brought to you by Caesars Atlantic City, your empire, your game. And also by Worldwide Entertainment and Sports. And by Budweiser. Tonight's fight being distributed by Titan Sports.